Alrighty, everyone. Now we're back. We're gonna triple check, and as I said, as on the outgoing live there, we make a better rescue sanctuary than a production studio, it seems. And there I can hear my miserable voice. So, all right, take one. We never even
absolutely.
Take two.
We just had a small warm up. It's fine.
Welcome everyone. We are so happy to be here with you live. Things happen live here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. We are doing a wonderful thing this week. We're learning more about the people who are here on the ground caring for the rescues that we all love so much and you all love so much. The 140 plus cats here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. Rio and Jill, we are so happy to have you here. And before I get started, I want to acknowledge that yesterday was Linus Mansa's Memorial Day on social media. And I want to thank everyone and let you know that those days are difficult, certainly difficult for you. They're difficult for the staff and interns here on the ground, and certainly made that much easier knowing that you guys are out there feeling for us, sending those positive vibes, for us, for Leo, Lion Leo in particular too, with Mansa's loss. So thank you for that. I wanted to acknowledge our supporters for sharing that with us yesterday. So nonetheless, let's get started. Jill and Rio, why don't you tell me where you're from and how you got here to the Wildcat Sanctuary?
Well, I'm from Puerto Rico. I just moved here to Minnesota because there was a caretaker opportunity, and yeah, I took it.
Marvelous.
That's how I ended up here. So yeah.
In Minnesota, Puerto Rico, maybe not too similar weather-wise?
No, absolutely not. It's way much colder here.
Well, Jill, and we've been kind of having some odd weather. You got to go visit home recently, and maybe the weather kind of was a little Minnesota-like, or at least you had some.
I would say it was
some
Minnesota
cold and ice.
Summer.
Okay.
It was a Minnesota summer over there. There were no cold temperatures or anything. I mean,
okay. I guess I misheard. I know that you had lost power recently when you had.
Yes.
Okay, so I didn't know if it was from that inclement weather that a lot of the southern states were having. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it was near that time.
Well, the cats are better to having you here, and I think it's easy to tell. It's negative 20-something today. I don't think there's any question that you've adjusted to the weather here in northern Minnesota.
No, absolutely. I love it.
You love when it's cold.
Yeah, I love when it's cold.
The rest of us are like, it's cold out, and you're like, oh, it's so nice.
Yeah, it's very nice.
We get the white Christmases
exactly.
and the four seasons. So yeah, there is certainly a feel to it and a taste to acquire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, cool. Well, how about you, Rio? Where are you from, and what led you here to the Wildcat Sanctuary?
Yeah, well, I'm from Colorado originally. Went to school out in Washington State, and then was doing a wildlife rehab internship there, and found out about TWS from a fellow intern there. She was coming here for an internship, and I was like, I've always wanted to work with tigers, so I decided to check it out, and came out here and never left.
Now, and you're working with tigers. You're working with bobcats, lynx. I mean, it's you're really crossing a lot of boxes here on the feline spectrum.
Yes, yeah.
And so also to kind of before we get in, we're going to be talking about a lot of what it's like for your guys to caretake here. Where do you caretake? What is your job here or zone, and who are some of the cats that are in them? Why don't you begin, Rio?
Well, I work with a bunch of the smaller guys, so I'm working with our domestic hybrids and our bobcats. I've got a couple of servals in the area that I work with, some ocelots, so I'm working mainly with the small guys, none of the big cats like tigers, lions just now, but I still get to see them when we do rounds and stuff, so it's always nice to be able to see everybody, but yeah, I work mainly with the small guys. And
I heard ocelot, so Rio, you caretake for Rio.
Yes.
So Rio.
We've got a lot of Rios here.
Exactly. Yeah, and we don't want to forget Rio Serval, of course, too.
Yes.
And so what about you, Joe?
kind of gravitate a little bit between big cats and small cats, but mainly small cats, same Bengal, Savannahs, Bobcats.
And what has been working in Cadio Town been for both of you? What about you, Joe?
It's been amazing.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. Everything looks pretty. Everything is so much easier. It's a new adventure.
Do you have a favorite suite? One of the themes that
Yes, the underwater one.
Okay,
Like
under the sea.
Under the sea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
I think that is also. I'm in between that and the up north suite, but the sea turtles that are kind of the steps. Those are really
those shelves are really cool.
A cool feature. Rio, what's it like been working in Cadio Town for you?
Oh, it's same. It's been incredible. I mean, especially since we've been having these negative temperatures when we get snow, just bad weather. It makes all the difference to just be able to go to one central building and feed all the hybrids rather than going to the rundown bungalows and you're feeding one group of cats and then you're back outside and then you go in and feed another group of cats. So it's really made a world of a difference to be able to be in one central building working with these guys. They all love it too. They love all of the shelves, the space that they have, the catios. We see them out all the time when it's nice weather. So it's just really been amazing to work in that building.
Yeah, and I think that's something that our supporters have easily been able to pick up on is the efficiency that building allows you in your caretaking, and how that circles back is what's the big picture is if it's not you guys moving through that building faster and giving less time to that care. It's allowing you to do that cleaning efficiently and then now circle back and have more time for the enrichment and just thinking about how to elevate the life for those rescues there. So obviously the weather is a big factor too, and knowing that a lot of the rescues in there are fair weather cats too, with them being the smaller hybrids. So the efficiency, I can imagine, is a big factor, and then being able to stay out of the weather is a nice factor too for both humans and cats. Well, Rio, let's start with you. We're kind of just talking about Cadio Town and your zone. You come in for the day. What's one of the things that you most enjoy working about with the cats on a daily basis?
Ooh. Just getting to see them all. Yeah, I mean, because that's why we're here is working with these guys and making sure that they're having a good day and they're happy, they're healthy, they've got enrichment. I mean, really, yeah, I can't pick just one thing about coming in. It's just being able to see everybody and work with everyone.
Yeah, that's a great answer. What about you, Joe?
It's kind of the same answer.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh, well, I actually enjoyed the same thing too. Yeah, just seeing them around and having a great time, and of course I do enjoy enrichment the most.
You see them happy and enjoying themselves. Yeah, of course.
For me, it's very rewarding seeing them. Sometimes you build something for them and they just destroy it, but you just feel in your heart like, okay, they enjoyed it. I did my part here.
Well, and that's so wonderful. I always kind of have this joke to myself of, you guys have watched a football game and they have one of the players kind of mic'd up so you can hear them doing the calls and the huddle and talking on the sidelines. You guys have unique relationships with all of the cats here. Obviously, that's, a little bit more elevated with the cats in your zone. But I that's the thing is you're going around, you guys each have a hello to each one of these cats. Sometimes a little voice you'll speak to them in. So my point being, I always imagine if I could just mic you guys up for the day. Well, I just think that's a great example for, that is how you fill your cup, and something that you absolutely should enjoy is you having those relationships and those exchanges with those cats, and how it's even visible to people like me. I'm just walking around taking photos, and just feeling that connection with you guys is certainly cool. So wonderful to hear. Well, how about this? Kind of, in the same vein, what do you enjoy most? But how about this? And I'll start with you, Jill. What is the perfect day of work for you here at the Wildcat Sanctuary? What does that look like?
Well,
lots of enrichment,
perfect
maybe?
Day is actually when you get everything done and you still have time to watch the enrichment.
There you go.
So, yeah, it's kind of a mix. Like, if I get all the cleaning done for the day, plus the enrichment, plus I have time to watch them enjoy the enrichment, that's perfect. I have nothing else to say.
I think that's a lot of us 9-to-5ers can identify with is just making sure we're getting our crossing our boxes for the day. So I like that.
Yeah.
What about you, Rio? What's the most perfect day at work? What makes that possible?
I'd say pretty similar, where we're actually able to get everything done that's on our list, and then still have the time to enjoy spending with the cats and being able to watch enrichment that we give them, but also that everybody is eating well, and that everybody, like, you're not worried about any particular cat over another. Like, it's just nice when everybody is feeling well and eating well, and we're able to get everything done on our list for the day. And yeah.
Well, and so I get, it's worth giving context of, that type of answer is that we come in here to the Wildcat Sanctuary. I know our supporters even know what it's like of, hey, we maybe have our set things to do, but just how many left field, coming out of nowhere things can happen. Maybe it's a sick cat, maybe it's, this or that. So there's a point to where, that you guys are making that, hey, a lot can happen in a day's work here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. We do have our set list of things, but we also know that we can make a left turn, we can make a right turn. But it certainly feels good to know that when we have those days that are a little bit more unobstructed and kind of more normal, so to speak, but maybe not a whole lot of normal days here at the Wildcat Sanctuary.
kind of few and far between, but when they happen, oh, it's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and so I think this is a great question for you two. What is the differences between caring for a tiger versus maybe a small hybrid cat in Catio Town? Rio, why don't you begin?
Well, I guess to start with the obvious differences, when we're caring for cats in Catio Town, we're able to go in with them and be able to, like, actually be with them for, like, while they eat, and get a really good close-up look at them, and with some of them, we're able to give them affection and work with them that way. Whereas, when we're working out with the tigers or lions out in red zone, that's not something that we're doing out there. We're not working with them as closely as we're able to with the smaller cats, just because they are so much more dangerous. So that's kind of an obvious difference between working with everybody in Catio Town versus most of the other cats that are on the property. But outside of that, the rest of the work is pretty similar, besides maybe, scooping litter boxes in Catio Town versus picking up tiger poop out in a yard out in red zone. So, I mean, that's a little different, but most of the time husbandry can still be pretty similar. You're still feeding cats, wanting to make sure you're getting a good look at the cats and make sure that they're healthy. So. Yeah,
I think that's a really valid point that you make, is that a lot of it is, it translates over, and that it kind of falls under an umbrella or a structure that we've created for the husbandry in caretaking here. And certainly so, when you're cleaning a hybrid litter box, it might be a lot different than filling up maybe an entire litter bucket that we use for our poop buckets when going through a big tiger yard. Jill, do you have anything you'd like to add to that, or anything that's really similar that maybe we might not realize about the littles and the bigs, or maybe a difference?
I would say difference, of course, like safety protocols.
Yeah.
Usually, they vary between those two groups. Especially with big cats, it requires a more specialized training for them, and that's kind of like the main thing between both.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. Is
Yeah.
safety, and then how are we going to do what we need to do for that cat in the moment while abiding by those safety standards.
Yes.
So, well, how about this? I think this is a fun question, and I think that admittedly, a lot of some of the most shy rescues that we have here at the Wildcat Sanctuary are in your guys' zone, in Zone 1. Thinking of our ALC rescues, I'm thinking of a lot of our rather shy hybrid rescues. So Jill, if you for example are trying to build trust with one of these shy hybrid cats or ALCs, how do you go about doing that?
So usually I just let them set the environment first. They set the pace. I would just be like a bystander and just calmly like make observations about them. I will slowly encourage them like with treats or, sorry. So yeah, it's just getting them used to your presence so they know you're not a threat. You can acquire that by just doing enrichment too, and creating a routine. Once they see there's a routine established, and it's like, oh, I see this person come here. This person brings me treats, food, enrichment. I don't see any threat, and then they will slowly start like trusting you. Of course, some of them take longer. They might take weeks, months, but it's very rewarding when you actually see them opening up and trusting you.
Yeah, I can imagine so. And I mean, and I think just in your, daily to-dos, you're coming across more than a handful of those cats where you're having to fall back on that the foundation that you've built for that, and certainly so is a bit a little bit more I don't want to say painstaking, but it requires patience.
Yeah, it requires a lot of patience.
It's a big part of your guys' job, and making like a tree and being very still. And yes, so. What about you, Rio? What are some examples of how you build trust with a cat?
Yeah, I'd say pretty similar. You definitely don't want to, push a cat who's not ready for that, because we do have a lot of really shy cats who don't want you in their space, and the look of that trust can be very different between different cats, because we could have a cat that comes in who's very shy, reserved at first, and once you build trust with that cat, they could be a very outgoing cat and want attention, versus another cat who comes in who acts the same way at the beginning could still be a very shy and reserved cat once they're comfortable. So it kind of depends on what the cat's personality is, but kind of a similar approach for any of those types of cats is just going to be slow. It's not going to happen in a day for most of them, and just continuing to work with them and not pushing them, letting them set the pace, as Jill said, and just showing them that we're not the bad guys, giving them enrichment, giving them food, treats, all that to show them that they're in a safe space, and that we're safe to be around too.
Yeah, I think that's, I think it's very informative for our supporters to hear that type of thing, and there's also another part of me that knows that they already know that we do that type of thing for our rescue, which is wonderful. Is that people get to see that every single day, and how we talk about new rescues and how we talk about dealing with these sensitive cats, and how you guys have this layered system that is going to make sure that this cat's feeling as comfortable as possible in its new life. So pretty fun and wonderful, and certainly reassuring to hear that. So we can lighten it up a little bit. You guys obviously have fun little whiteboards in your laps here. We're going to be playing a game to round off our interview. We have a few more questions I'd like to get to, but I'll interject on ourselves and welcome everyone. If you're just tuning in, We are having a blast getting to know, the ones who make Living Wild at Heart possible for so many here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. The big cats and bigger hearts, our staff members here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. Well, they kick butt for the cats here in so many different ways, and we've been learning how Gilmarie and Rio, are one of the many boots on the ground making life oh so sweet for the rescues here. And, we're about a little over halfway through our interview, and it really has been edifying. So if you just tuned in halfway, rest assured this will be uploaded to our YouTube channel at watchwildcats.com, as well as you being able just to go back and watch right from the beginning till the end here on Facebook. I think this is a little lighter question, and I really liked some of the answers that I was getting from Katrina and Elise on Monday is, if you could have a superpower, I'll start with you, Jill. If you could have a superpower to make your job easier here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, what would it be?
Like telekinesis.
Telekinesis,
Yes.
Okay. So it's like, all right, I see that, that soiled bed in a shy ALC's bungalow. Let me just lift it out of there and pull it my way, and I'll be able to get it laundered.
Oh my God,
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That platform looks crooked, then we fixed it.
There we go. I didn't even think about that. You can do some major construction
absolutely.
projects with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's smart.
Oh no, I need to replace this bungalow. Let me just
Boom.
replace the new one.
Well, and I'll tell you what, you're also lifting a lot of heavy things. I'll tell you, a water bucket, kind of like Matilda, just moving everything around. I think that'd be pretty sweet.
Oh, that'd make life so much easier.
Rio, what about you? Do you have a superpower that would make life easier for you?
Being able to read the cat's minds. And not only read their minds, but understand what they're going through, and like, oh, you didn't want to eat today? Okay, like, can you tell me why? And like, oh, you don't want to play with your enrichment? What kind of enrichment would you like? So I think that would make life a lot easier.
Yes, to speak cat.
Yes.
Similar to what Elise had, and obviously to think being able to communicate with them during if they have any type of medical need, but I also like just kind of thinking about it on the softer side. Hey, what enrichment do you like? Or Indy, tell me exactly what where you would want this placed, or what have you. So that's fun to think. And then also, before we got to our whiteboard game, just to learn a little bit more about you guys and what you do outside of the Wildcat Sanctuary. Jill, it comes to your weekend. What are you going to do to enjoy yourself during your time off?
Well, I usually do creative stuff.
Cool.
Usually paint or draw.
I was going to say you have some quite the artistic skill set. I've seen.
Yeah, that's what I usually do. But it varies by, depending if we are in warmer months. I usually just go outside and take the cats for a walk.
There you go.
I don't know. I usually practice. I study new languages. That's another thing that I like to do.
Wow.
But if it's colder months, then that's where all the creative stuff comes around.
And I'm sitting on my couch watching TV, and Jill is studying new languages. That's
what language are you learning now?
Yeah.
Japanese.
Whoa, that is absolutely incredible, Jill.
3 years now.
Can you say hello and thank you for watching?
Oh my God! You took me by surprise. I'm very shy with talking.
We'll come back. I'll just have you write. I'll have you write the answers in Japanese characters.
Wow.
We'll just go there. No, but Jill, that's wonderful. And I heard you mention taking your cat outside. Remind everyone, who is your cat at home, and why might they know him?
Stan. Stan the Bengal. He used to be here.
Yep, Stan's one of our domestic Bengal rescues, and a big human lover, and is good about using his litter box. He's an angel. He is a sweetheart. He is, and I often, the first moment I looked at Stan, He's kind of a Benny doppelganger.
Yes, he is.
So immediately I was like, oh man, he's so cute. And
Yes.
so Stan's doing well.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, he's doing amazing. He is doing his little. He loves to go to the basement just to meow, and then comes back up and goes back to sleep. It's like a routine. If you don't open the basement, he will be sitting there until you open that
There
door.
must be some good acoustics down there.
Yeah, probably.
Well, Ria, what about you? I'm I know some of the things you like to do outside of work, but what weekend comes up? What's Rio going to be doing?
Really, I just like to get outside. My boyfriend, my dog, and I will usually go out for hikes and stuff. In the winter, yeah, we try and get out when it's not too cold out. Like this weekend, we're probably gonna go up to Duluth and do something up there. But yeah, we just like to kind of get out and adventure. When it's nice out in the summers, we'll still go hiking. I have a motorcycle, so I'll go ride for the weekend. Paddleboard, get out on the water. Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of anything outside, I'm happy, as long as it's not -20.
I know. I'm always so impressed just checking in with everyone after the weekend. I mean, it's just us up here, and that's what's cool is that sometimes we ignite an idea of you were paddleboarding down the Kettle River and you're showing me pictures and it looks so cool and you're the only one doing it and. Then I went down there in my little aluminum boat, and it was probably a lot less graceful than you on your paddleboard. But that's the thing. We're here in northern Minnesota. I think one thing that's special about us here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, we're not all just animal lovers, but we're also nature lovers and outdoor lovers, and I think that kind of informs a lot about us and what we like doing on the weekend. So. And obviously animals being infused into that. Your dog, Stan, taking his walk. So, has Stan taken a winter walk? Do you maybe shovel?
He doesn't like it.
I
want to be. I tried. I opened the door and he sniffed the air and went back. He's like, no.
That's probably a decision that you can vouch for and say
absolutely.
Totally understandable, Stan.
My cats are always trying to run out the door, and I'm like, I promise you don't want to go out there.
This was one last question that I wanted to ask you before we move into our final portion of the interview. Could you tell us about your first childhood pet? What about you, Jill? Yes.
So, my first childhood pet, of course, was a cat. Her name was Manchita.
Manchita. Okay.
Manchita. It means spot.
Okay.
Yeah, because she was a calico, and she had a lot of spots. So my mother decided to name her Manchita. So I was in 6th grade, and I was talking with a student, and she told me, hey, my grandma is giving away some cats if you want to adopt one. And I'm like, yeah, sure, but you're in 6th grade. Usually they tell you, hey, I'm gonna bring you a cat, and they never appear with the cat. So I thought, she's going to forget, she's not going to give me any cat. A week later she showed up with the cat in a box. And I'm like, she's cute. And I was playing with her the entire day at school. And by the end of the day, I was crying because my mother is not gonna let me have her. I never talked to her. So all the teachers, they made this plan together laid out this plan together about how they can make my mother to keep the cat.
That's adorable.
They talked to her in advance, and my mother was, they talked to her in advance, and when my mother picked me up in the afternoon, the only thing my mother said was like, where's the cat? I'm like, here she is. And she's like, she's staying just 2 weeks. 2 weeks passed, and then I was like, hey, Mom, what are we doing with Manchita? And she's like, she's staying. She's too cute. And I'm like, yeah, I bet.
Gotcha. Well, that's, that's kind of what happens is, I think that's a special question to ask someone because it usually does kind of unlock something is we all have that special memory of one of the first animals in our lives when we were children, and so that was really wonderful to hear, Jill. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah, it was very cute. She spent 15 years with us.
Oh, that's awesome. And one of my first cats was a calico. It was Cuddles, and then Tabby the tabby cat. So.
Oh, that's cute.
Ria, what about you? Your first pet as a child? Any fond memories?
Yes, lots of fond memories, but of so many different pets. We had dogs, rabbits, chickens when I was growing up, fish.
Okay.
Nice.
So yeah, just kind of ran the gauntlet of a couple of the different animals, but I really enjoyed having chickens. They were a lot of fun. We had 13 chickens when I was younger, and
any roosters or all chickens?
Nope, just all hens. Yeah, and I knew how to tell each one of them apart. My favorite was named Miss Sweetie, and she was just the sweetest little chicken. And she always laid these eggs with like a little swirl on the top of them. It was really cute. And so whenever we would go out and collect eggs, we always knew which one was from her. But yeah, we had a couple dogs with them too, Balto named after the movie Balto, because he looked like Balto, and he was a rescue Malamute mix, but he was just absolutely gorgeous. He was a gorgeous dog. And we had Sterling, who was an Australian Shepherd that we had with Balto, and they were a great pair. And I did a lot of like training with them when I was younger, so I thought I'd grow up and be a dog trainer one day. But here I am training tigers instead.
Well, I think Rio, you could maybe massage it a little bit and say identifying all those different chickens was really setting you up to be able to identify.
Work with cougars.
Yeah,
with
all
servals.
these different. What's the difference between that serval and this serval, and all these different bobcats.
So I got a little bit of a head
I was going to
start
say it prepared you in its own way.
Yes.
Well, as we kind of round off our interview, we are going to play something kind of like the Newlywed Game. Are either of you ever seen that old show or know the concept of it?
I've heard it, not seen it.
Very simply, it is kind of guessing, and I'm going to assign one of you of who will be guessing and who they'll be guessing about. And I'm going to ask, maybe what's Rio's favorite drink, and you would write coffee or Coca-Cola or something like that. Okay. So I'm going to have Jill, you are going to be the keeper of the answers, and Rio, you're going to be guessing potentially what are some of Jill's favorite things, and we can start easy. So what is what is Jill's favorite TWS cat?
Oh.
And do your best to kind of hide your answers from one another. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and we'll flip it over and we'll see who got it correct.
Okay.
All right.
Wait, I'm writing mine or Rio's?
Exactly, you're writing your favorite, and we're going to see if Rio can answer correctly. Jill's laughing. Maybe a runner-up guess from Rio here. We're going to turn around. We're going to turn around in 1, 2, 3. Beauty, skin, or all of them. Okay, that encompasses.
That's okay.
Yeah,
that's a nice answer.
He's a TWS cat.
Exactly.
That is very great. And Beauty, what a special gal. And I saw her. We put out some Valentine's Day enrichment for her, Jill, and hanging out in her little heart-shaped box. I'm sure the folks will see in the e-newsletter tomorrow. Very adorable. Okay. What is Jill's favorite thing to bring to eat at work for lunch?
Oh,
I never see you
eat. Wait, you never see me eat?
No.
Well, that's true. We don't take the same.
We don't
Oh no!
Share lunches very often.
That's right, because you're in the same zone. This is a hard. This is a hard question. Alternate. This is a very hard question. How about this? We'll go to. Is Jill more a morning person or a night owl?
Okay. But I also gotta know what would your lunch answer have been? What would your lunch answer have been?
I just bring a lot of stuff here. Let me see the favorite one. French onion rice.
Ooh, okay.
I
I'll
really
done something with rice. Okay.
Yeah, something with rice. Exactly.
Morning bird or night owl?
I'll admit, I see Jill hanging out next to that Keurig coffee maker here in the mornings. Maybe that's an indication. We'll see.
Hang on.
Rio's maybe making a little graphic here.
Yeah, I'm concerned.
This is not very good, but okay, ready.
All right, and turn around in 3, 2, 1, go.
Let's do a little crescent moon there.
A night owl. It could have been an early bird.
That's an owl.
Yes, it's got the big eyes.
I thought it was a chicken.
It could have been an early bird or a night
It's got the
owl.
big night owl eyes.
That was very creative, Rio.
Yeah, that's very creative.
It's like, let's spice it up a little bit.
And
I'm
Jill,
sure yours would have been much better.
Jill, I think I'm a big bad night owl until I sit on my couch and I immediately fall asleep at about 9 p.m.
Yep.
But
Really?
I try my best. Well,
What's your bedtime?
It's usually somewhere between 12 or 1.
Oh yeah, that's night owl for sure. Yep.
I like it. Well, we'll try to make this last one as easy as it possibly can be. And it's not like you guys are strangers to each other. I'm just maybe bad at finding the right question. Jill, what is one thing you cannot live without? It could be as simple as this or that. Is it just seeing Stan at the end of the day? I'm not going to put any answers in your mouth, but
I would say it's
Wait, write it down.
Oh, this is part of the game.
Exactly. This will be our last one, and then we're going to sign off here because we have our big Valentine's Day party after this. I'm going to do a little food prep to do. Jill is grinning like the Cheshire cat over there.
Done.
Okay, and we will turn around in 3, 2, 1, go. Stan and Peach.
I like how you took the drawing aspect.
It turned into a little bit more
absolutely right.
creative than I thought. So Stan and Peach, your cat's at home, and a cat graphic encompassing all cats.
Yeah, exactly.
Wonderful. I think a nice fun end to a wonderful and informative interview with both Rio and Jill here. Thank you guys so much.
It was fun. It was fun.
Yes, I think that anytime that we're able to help our supporters learn more about how colorful and vibrant and intelligent and well-informed our staff members are, the better. It's their support who makes all things Wildcat Sanctuary possible. It's you guys here on the ground making that possibility possible. And it's just so cool to highlight you guys. And it's been a privilege and fun, and I can't wait to do it more in the future.
Yeah,
sounds
good.
absolutely.
Thank you everyone for joining.
That's right. And the next installment we posted to our story, everyone, will be happening at 1 p.m. today. Things were a little adjusted and kind of truncated with Mansa's memorial yesterday. So the next installment of the Big Cats and Bigger Hearts interviews will be coming later today at 1 p.m. So we'll see you soon, everyone, and on the other side of our Valentine's Day potluck. All right, thanks again, Rio and Jill.
Yeah, of course. It's fun.